Well, good morning, everyone. Hopefully, we're going to have a couple of people show up, but we'll just wait and see. We're going to go ahead and get started here for a little bit. This will be available on the Encompass website. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to talk about craft ice. This is one of LG's new things that started last year. It actually started 3 years ago in a test market, but I don't think there were very few of those that were ever produced. The craft ice. This is a very distinctive. Um, this ice is actually, I had a container that would actually make a craft ice. That you had to fill it up, and then you had to add water so that it would make the two pieces together. You'll see whenever we get in what I was discussing. There is a lot of new things that are happening with ice. I'm waiting on them to come up with um, a nugget ice machine that is in a refrigerator, so that you don't have to buy the $2,500 nugget ice machine. ice is a very Ice is a very interesting thing here in the continental U.S. Americans use more ice than any other nation. So that's just one of those idiotic facts that come into play. But we tend to have ice in all of our drinks. If you go to Europe and Canada and even Mexico, they don't really use a whole lot of ice. They chill their drinks and that's it. And some of them just in Europe they actually don't even chill them. You get them room temperature, which most people in the U.S. don't like that. So me being one of them, I really don't like non ice in my glasses. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. First, I want to thank Encompass. They are the leading provider of original replacement parts and after sales services. One of the things that they have for an after sales service is this program right here. We do this once a week. We were doing it twice a week, but we've cut it down to once a week. It does seem that we have a whole lot more people in the 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock sessions than we normally do with today. On a Tuesday in the mornings like this, everybody's trying to get ready and get everything done. So it's a whole lot easier in the afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and start moving along. Well, once again, thank you, Encompass. I appreciate it. I'm sure that all the technicians do. Maybe they're getting exposed to some of the things that they don't normally get exposed to, as far as the training. So today's program is going to be about an hour, maybe a few minutes less than that. But this is everything that I could find on this new Icemaker from LG. Okay, so let's talk about Easy Stock for a minute. Easy Stock is got to be one of the greatest one item thing that you have to really have. Okay, as a technician, the one thing that I always struggled with was getting my parts in the places that I could easily access it, know exactly where it was, make sure that it got put on the right shelf whenever I received parts in, and I didn't just throw them in. That had to be one of the challenges that I had as a technician. Like I said, I was actually a technician for about 15 years. Um, and so one of the things that I continually struggled with was getting my parts organized and in a manner that I could easily find. This is what Easy Stock does. Not only that, later on, whenever I actually owned a company and we had parts that we had that were you know I had guys that did really well with refrigeration, and then when I had guys that did really well from with microwaves. So we didn't keep all the parts, but if I had to have somebody go by and look at something because one of the other guys was busy or couldn't get to it, we easily was able to know exactly where the parts are with this Easy Stock program. One of the other things that I did was I used to look for stuff whenever I had my own company. Um, I had the excuse me, I had the parts in my van, and I had a little parts place in my home, and that were in the garage, and I knew I had it, but I didn't know where it was at. So this right here, Easy Stock, changes everything so that I can actually know exactly where all of my parts are. Not only that, if I have specialty tools, let's say I have an air sled, and I don't have that. I've got four people that are working for me, and I don't want to spend the money for an air sled for each truck, or I can't afford it. It's what it usually was. I can actually get the air sled, put that into Easy Stock, and whenever somebody checks it out, I can use that as a checkout program, and that way I know where all of my parts are. It's a very good tool. I just want you to make sure that you do that. Now, one of the other things that happens as we move along is you have a rep that you need to reach out to and rely on. Also, Easy Stock, the Easy Stack app. If you go to YouTube, which if you look right here, this is a YouTube. You can copy this down, and you can go in and you can check on the YouTube. Um, but if you type in Easy Stock Encompass, it'll actually bring up this information. And I think there's one other one that is out there for the Easy Stock program, and it just walks you through, and you can actually go in and look and find um, if it's really something that you think is beneficial to you. I will tell you that the only thing you're going to have is a an account with Encompass. Okay, that other than that, yeah, I would tell you that's something that you really need. This program doesn't cost you anything; it's free. So please go ahead, go and do your due diligence and your homework. Look at it, see if it's not exactly what you could use, especially because this is free. It doesn't cost you a dime. So make sure that you are doing your due diligence, because every as a technician, you gotta know where your parts are. If it takes me 5 minutes to locate parts because I don't know where my parts are, that's 5 more minutes I could have added to my day if I had this Easy Stock program. So enough said about the Easy Stock. I think that, to me, if I wish that I had that whenever I was a technician and an owner. So I'm telling you that I really like the Easy Stock program. I mean, I can actually, let's say I bought something from one of the other parts houses. Okay, I can actually scan that into my Easy Stock program with the bar. I can scan the barcode. So I would tell you this is great. Please do your due diligence and go ahead and invest your time in it. Okay, so if you go in here and you type in the YouTube here, this is Reggie. So Reggie has his own YouTube channel. He also has one on Facebook. Go ahead, subscribe to the Facebook. I'm actually in there. I have, and if somebody has a question, and if I happen to see it and nobody's answered it, I will chime in and let everybody know. Hey, check on this. Make sure that this is what you're checking. Um, like I said, I get calls during the day. I will tell you that this is not a full time job for me, so I'm not actually always right on top of everything. I don't have my phone where I relay it out and answer calls. The easiest thing to reach me is to text me. Okay, my phone number and my information, including my email, is right here at the scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Okay. So it's my phone number is 386-341-2573. Text me at that number. My email is mitchwilliams62@gmail.com. Text or send me an email there. If you have a problem, please. I have no problem reaching out and trying to help a fellow technician. Look, there's somebody texting me right there. Okay. I'm going to keep moving along. So let's start talking about this brand new Icemaker that LG has come out with. Okay, this is a cube this thing only makes 3 cubes. Okay, it's kind of like the old, super old. If you're, I don't know how old you are. There was a 3 or 4 cube GE Icemaker that only made 3 or 4 cubes, but it made them. This thing takes about 2 hours to make ice. Okay, so don't the customer is going to go, well, I didn't get a whole lot of ice. Well, you didn't, but as we get into it, you'll understand why it only makes about 4 cubes. I mean, I hate to put it this way, but I like to have a glass of whiskey every now and then. This is perfect. This is what I used to keep in my freezer. I used to have one of these that I kept in a container. Okay, this thing is very nice. It takes it a whole lot longer for it to melt because it's one solid cube. It once the water comes in, it disperses and goes between the cubes just like it always does. Okay, there is a picture of it when it is fully made. Okay, see how big that is? Everybody thinks, oh, well, that's not very big. Well, if you look at it, okay, here's the shape of the craft ice. We're going to come back to that. Okay, this is a 2-inch diameter. Okay, so it's about the size in between a baseball and a golf ball. It's right about it. So it's 2 inches around. Okay, so it only takes 2 cubes to fill up a glass. So that's a great thing. I don't have to have like at my current ice maker, it takes 15 cubes because I use a tall glass. It takes 10 or 15 cubes for me to fill up the ice. So this thing is craft ice. It's 2 inches in diameter. Okay. It comes in a little. If you notice, this bucket is a whole lot smaller than a regular one of the old ice buckets. So you can tell I like this new ice maker. If somebody wants to give me one, I'll be more than happy to test it out for somebody. Okay. So let's talk about this. Okay. If the ice maker is on, whenever you get to the house, because I'll tell you what will happen if this thing goes. I'm gonna get out in front of things a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, if the ice maker is above 30 degrees, I mean, if it comes above zero, like 1 degree, if it's not set for zero or below, this ice maker will not work. Okay, so it's got to be set for zero or below. So if it's at 12 degrees, which is still freezing, it's not going to work. If something happens, I'm going to have to turn that off and turn that back on. When this plays the using this like a devil's advocate, if it gets above that 0 degree mark, you're going to actually have to turn this off and then turn this back on. And whenever you do, you're going to have to wait somewhere between 18 and 30 hours for that first batch to be produced. It's not a fast ice. This is not something that you're gonna just bam, bam, bam start the ice just running out. It takes it between 18 and 30 hours if it's been turned off, or if it's a brand new ice maker and it's just been plugged in. It takes it that long for it to start making ice. Okay, if it's turned on, turn it off, reset the ice maker, and you're still going to have to wait that 18 to 30 hours to reset for this ice maker to start working again. Okay. Oops. Sorry about that. A minor setback. Okay. So what we're going to do is, if the ice maker still doesn't produce, you can put it into a test mode. This does have a test mode. Okay. What happens whenever I put that into a test mode? Okay. The first thing I'm going to have to do, if I'm going to put it in the test mode, okay, I'm going to remove the ice bucket. Okay. If I've got ice in it, I'm just going to either put something I'm going to put that in something that I can put somewhere else so that it doesn't melt all the ice. But I'm going to put it somewhere. I'm going to take a small bucket that's about the same size as the I need a little pan so that I can catch the water. Because in the test cycle, you're going to test several things. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to press that test button for 3 seconds. Okay. Once it starts to go through, what's it going to do? Okay. The test mode will go through 3 stages. All right. It will go through the water supply. It'll go through a harvest. Okay. And it'll go through the ice making stage. Okay. Want to make sure that, excuse me. So whenever it goes through the ice making, the water supply, that's when you're going to get your water. All right. So we want to make sure that we have something to catch the water in. All right. So we're going to go through, we're going to get the water. It's going to come in. It's going to go through a quick harvest ice making stage, which is a couple of minutes. And then it's going to go on to the harvest. Okay. Once the test is completed, just replace the bucket in the same position that you had it put in once you've done that. Okay. So if something happens and I need to remove this ice maker, how am I going to do that? Okay. First thing I'm going to do is reach up and use both hands and remove the bucket. There's a little cover. Okay. That they call a front plate. So you're going to remove that front plate. Okay. Then I'm going to pull out the drawer. Then I'm going to take the shelf out that's underneath the drawer. Okay. Then I'm going to take out the right side screw first, because if you don't, it's a whole lot more difficult to get to it later once you've removed some of the other screws. Okay. So there's 3 screws that you're going to have to remove. There's this one that's highlighted here. Okay. There's one at the there's 2 at the very top. You can see those up in the black plastic. You can see those. Okay. Once I remove those, I'm going to take those top screws off. You can see right there. And then there's the other one. As I remove those, okay, I'm going to be able to look behind me. I can pull this unit out gently, okay, and I can expose that Molenex connector in the back. You can see it right there in the back left side. It's actually the back right side if you're facing the Icemaker. If you're facing the Icemaker, it's the back left. If you're the Icemaker itself, it's the back right. Okay. So you're going to expose that. You're going to unhook that. Okay. You're going to unplug that Molenex plug right there. Okay. Once I get that out, I can replace the Icemaker. I can go through and make sure that the one thing I will tell you that I really don't like about the Icemaker is it's the stuff is plastic, so I don't really think that's a great thing. But to do this any other way, you couldn't do it. You almost have to have it like this. So if I'm going to do any kind of reassembly on this, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I rehook, okay, the right side. So if you look right there, there's a picture and then a blown up picture of that on the right side. Okay. So here are some of the troubleshooting tips for the craft ice. Okay. Things to check before removing the Icemaker. Number 1, what is the temperature inside the refrigerator, inside the freezer? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that however I want to check it. You know, I know guys that use a LED to check it. I know other technicians are like me, and they use the old standard. I used to carry a thermometer in my pocket, stick that in there, and check that to find out what the temperature is. Okay. Then number 2, you're going to make sure that the Icemaker is turned on. Okay. Then I'm going to make sure that the water filter is new and it's not clogged. That's going to be the one that you're going to find the most, is that the water filter, the customer didn't use the water filter, didn't change the water filter like they should. Okay. One of the other things is this Icemaker, okay, it runs off the light switch. If the light switch is inoperative, it won't make ice. Okay. Then you're going to check the water valve. So we're going to go through each one of these stages. Okay. So the temperature should be no higher than 0 degrees. If if it's higher than the 0 degree, the Icemaker may shut itself off and may have to be restarted, which will cause another 18 to 30 hour delay. If the freezer has the product added, that's what you have to remember. Let's say the customer went out and purchased a whole bunch of frozen food. Well, if from the time they got it to the grocery store to the time they put it in the freezer, you know, that temperature has risen, and if it's not put into a power freeze mode, it will cause the temperature in the freezer to rise. So you have to be careful that it doesn't get above 0 degrees. If it does, you need to kind of let the customer know whenever they call in, hey, listen, have you just bought a lot of frozen food? Okay, that's probably your problem. See if it corrects itself. If it doesn't, then turn the Icemaker off and turn it back on, and then wait about 30 hours, and it will start making ice again. So just make sure that you can, excuse me, you make sure that you have the ice maker, that the temperature is the right temperature, and somebody hasn't left the door open and gotten it warm. But that's one thing about this ice maker. If it gets above zero, it's probably going to shut off. Okay. So the ice maker on off may be located on the ice maker, or it could be on the display. Make sure you know where it is and when the ice maker is turned, and if the ice maker is turned on. So on the display and on uh, the high end pieces of the LG product, it's going to be on the display. So you need to make sure that that ice maker is turned on, and you may have to do it via the control panel. Um, just wanted to make sure that everybody knows it doesn't necessarily mean that it's on the unit. You're going to open the door and look and see if it is, because you're just going to pull that cover off, look, see if it has the on off switch. Okay. So we're going to make sure that the water is coming into the ice maker. If not, I'm going to check the filter and the installation. If it hasn't been changed lately, I'm going to replace it. Okay. If it has, then ensure the water line is not frozen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that, number one, I've already been out on one, and the lady told me that was a friend of mine's wife. Oh yeah, we replaced the water filter. And then I get out there and I look at the water filter, and it's not put in properly, and it's actually leaking in the refrigerator. And it's like, this is the problem. We replaced it, and it started to work fine. So you just have to make sure that it's put in, and it's new. It's been that the water filter has been changed within the last 4 months to 6 months. This water filter has to be changed every 6 months. It does come on the new refrigerators. I mean, on the newer ones that have the inside the refrigerator, there will be a light that comes on. So make sure that water has been changed, so that we don't have any problems. So the filter is a main thing. Okay. So we're going to get down to the water line in just a little bit first. It's the next one down. So we're going to talk about the light switch. Okay. You've got to make sure that this light switch is operational. Pretty easy. You open the door, and the light comes on. You mash it, the light goes off, tells me that the light's working. If I'll have one and I come in, I open the door, the light switch doesn't come on, then I know that I may have a bad switch. How am I going to check that? I'm going to have to pull that switch, and I'm going to have to check it through continuity. Okay. On the same side of that, if I am, pardon me, if I am, if I open the door, the light switch comes on, I still mash the button to make sure it goes off, because I have seen it where the light switch stays on. Okay, and that it fails in the normally open position, and the light switch doesn't go off. So yeah, in my experience, you got to check these if that's going to be my problem. Okay, so let's talk about we're at where the water valve. Okay, so number one, I'm going to have to pull the refrigerator out. If you know me and you have ever done any of the classes that I've been involved with, the first thing that I will tell you is protect yourself. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I have, if I'm going to think I'm going to be messing around with something, I make sure that I have a set of gloves that I can, if I think I might have, a cut, I can, as you can tell, I don't listen to my own advice. But one of the things that you want to do is protect the customers. You protect yourself. I always had my guys wear booties. I have a pair of booties that I have if I have to go to a customer's home. I make sure that even if it's a friend of mine, I still put them on. I've had them ask me, "Why in the world are you putting it on?" You know, that at my house, and I go, "Dude, it's not it. It's all about taking care of you." Okay, so take care of yourself. Wear booties. Wear any kind of protective gear that you need to do, so that you're safe. The other thing is you protect the customer's home. Okay, the customer may not realize that they have a gouge in the floor, although I don't know how you wouldn't, but I would tell you that if I see something like that and I go into a customer's home, even if it's a friend of mine, I immediately pointed out, hey Jimbo, listen, man, there's a whole nice gouge in your floor, or there's a rip in the floor, depending on what it is. But I make sure that I point that out to the customer. If I am doing it as a money making item and not a friend item, I make sure that I note it on the ticket. Okay. And then I have them sign the ticket. Okay. Always protect yourself and the customer. Okay. So if I'm going to pull this refrigerator, I'm going to have some kind of floor protection. Okay. Will it totally stop it 1,000%? No. I'm going to tell you that right now. There are going to be some instances that you're not going to be able to do anything. That's one thing that I really like about an air sled. It actually picks the refrigerator out and I can move it with a finger. Okay. But I've got to do something to protect the floor. So either use an air sled. If I don't, I know that I have a couple of pieces of gypsum board that I can use to pull the refrigerator. I can use that to protect the floor. So make sure that I have some kind of floor protection down so that I can protect the customer's home. Okay. So if something happens, I'm gonna if I'm not sure I'm getting water to the ice maker, okay, I'm gonna have to pull that refrigerator out. Once I pull that refrigerator out, I'm gonna have to move it till I can get it behind it. Once I get behind it, I'm going to put my meter in. I'm going to unplug the water valve connection. I'm going to put my meter in. I'm going to cycle the ice maker. Since I'm doing it this way, this ensures that we do not have any water that I have to worry about, because if I have the water valve unplugged, it's never going to get any water to the ice maker itself. So I'm going to cycle the ice maker. I'm going to watch my meter. I'm going to see if I have a positive 120 volts that comes to my water valve. If I get that, then I've got one of two problems. I either have a bad water valve or it's frozen. So now comes the fun part. Now I'm going to turn the water off. Okay. I'm going to go get my towels because I'm still going to have residual water. I'm going to go get my towels, put them on the floor. I'm going to unhook the water line that's coming into the water valve. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I've got water that's actually coming in. So I always have a 2-gallon, 3-gallon bucket. I put that in there, turn the water on, make sure that I get water. If I don't have water, we got a valve under the counter. So you just need to know that it's the refrigerator issue, not the other issue. I never messed around with excuse me, that I never messed around with the plumbing. I know how to do it on my home. I don't want to get out there and something happen and me have to do something and then have to call a plumber. So I would always tell a customer that they needed to call call the plumber and have the plumber come out there. Okay. One of the if I get water in, I know that my water supply is good. So next I'm gonna check and make sure that I get the water that goes through the valve and up into the ice maker itself. So you've got one of two ways to do that. Okay, you can do it the old method and just kind of blow through the tube, or I can use an air unit and hook that up and blow the air through, so that I make sure that I've got water that's going through. Because if you've been out in the field very long, you'll know that in some instances, there's a leak around the water inlet that supplies the water inside the refrigerator, and I may have to remove those two screws, pull that little plastic valve out, that little plastic chute out, and then defrost it and get it so that I get the water that runs through it. Okay. I have heard people say, "Oh, well, just use a heat gun or a hair dryer, or don't use a hair dryer and don't use a heat gun." Whatever you do, don't do that. Okay. If you do that, you run the risk of warping the back of the cabinet. And if you do that, then you really have an issue. Okay. Now you bought a refrigerator. Make sure that you are using your smarts so that you protect yourself. Okay. So if I'm going to run that under some hot water, if I have to remove that, I'm going to look at the area around that surrounds it. It may be that I need to put a little caulking, a little plumber's putty around it to protect it, so that I don't have any air that gets in and causing that to freeze. One of the other things is, I could have a bad valve because the valve is letting water come through it, and it's pressing the water up. And that could be, since it's not shutting off properly, it could be that the valve is bad. So you've got to check for that too. If I get there and everything is working properly, I know that I can check the valve itself, which is what I do to begin with. I check and make sure that my plunger is pulling up into the valve. If that's not pulling up, then that's bad. But I still have seen where the customer had water, and the filter actually clogged it. The water that's going to the filter, from the filter to the ice maker, is clogging it up. So you have to check that too, to make sure that it's not done that. I mean, if customers have never changed the water filter, you may get some carbon chunks that end up in the line that supplies the ice maker. Please make sure that you're checking all of that. Okay. So, like I said, this was a very short program. This was a brand new ice maker that hadn't been out very long. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew a little bit about it. I hope that everybody had all of their information, that you got something good out of this. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and put it. If you have questions, put it in the comments there. We're going to wait a couple of minutes. Okay. Looks like we're done for the day. Listen, if you have any questions, my number is scrolling along the bottom right here. Reggie's information is scrolling along the bottom. I will tell you that Reggie is a whole lot more busy than I am. He doesn't always get. If you call his number, you may not get him because his mailbox may be full for his phone. Text him, just like me. Don't call me and think I may answer the phone, because I may not. But text me, okay? Let me know that just text me and I'll be more than happy. I will get back to you. Give me 24 hours and I will get back to you. I had one gentleman that texted me 2 days ago, and I'm going to get back with him today because I gave him some things to check on, and I just want to make sure that he got it fixed, or that we have another thing that we can go to, so that I can try to help him walk through and find his issue. So thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's help. Everybody, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to come on and take care of a little training. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening or a wonderful day. Be safe out there, and I will see you next time.